Hi, Allie. I want to thank you for inviting me to come and by way of internet here and talk to your group today. Looking forward to it. I want to share some information with you that I hope will be beneficial, and at the end I'll do my best to take any questions from the audience that you have. Let's start out real simple with how to really start dowsing. Now, I'm not going to try to teach anybody how to douse because you probably already know. But let's just cover some basics. The first thing you want to do when you start to douse is to relax the mind. Because if you're trying to douse and have 3 or 4 people around you talking all at the same time, it scatters the mind. So when I'm dowsing, I want to be pretty much alone, or at least not have anyone interrupting me. So I would suggest that before you start to douse, take a few deep breaths and get yourself really calm. Now, as you know, I use a bullet on a pendulum, a bullet on a chain for a pendulum here. And it is real simple, so I'm not going to try to teach dowsing. I just want to teach some of the things that will help you to become a better dowser. So first, get relaxed. Take a few deep breaths. And then, when you want to ask a question, you might ask, do I have permission and ability to get the answer that I want to ask? And this, as you know, going back and forth is a yes, this is a no. Okay. If you get a no, you might want to ask, well, can I rephrase this question to ask it a different way? Because the accuracy of your dowsing will depend upon how you have asked the question. If you don't ask the right question, you can't get the right answer. So let's just focus on that for a moment. Everything begins with thought or visualization. Visualization is creating a mental picture. So you want to create a mental picture of what you wish to accomplish. And this is true in most every phase of life, not just dowsing. The rule for success is think of what you want, not what you don't want. And the reason is, Einstein explained it in 3 simple words: energy follows thought. So wherever you put your thoughts, you put your energy. Also, thoughts are the first step of creativity. It's thoughts that affect your actions, and actions affect your future. So whether you believe you can or whether you believe you can't, you're right. So you'll have a lot better success throughout life on everything if you believe you can. So one of the methods of success is think of what you want instead of what you don't want. And I cannot overstate the fact that energy follows thought. So let's go a little bit further here. If you have some type of an illness, don't tell everybody about it. Why? Because they will then start thinking about it, and they'll probably start feeling sorry for you, and they will create mental pictures of what's wrong with you. Don't give anybody an opportunity to do this. If people ask how you are, usually say I'm fine or I'm getting better. When people ask me how I am, I have a standard answer. I am older than dirt and tougher than nails. I've said that so many times that I believe it. And the fact that I believe it has worked for me. I'm almost never sick, and if so, it's very, very mild. The last time that I had a physical examination was when I got out of the Army in 1966. And I attribute most of my pretty good health, to simply thinking positively. I do my best to avoid people that think negatively and talk negatively. And I really believe that is why that I have lived this long, 81 years, and still very healthy, very strong. I do a lot of hard physical work. I cut my own firewood. I grow gardens. And we always want to think of the most positive thing we can think of. So I don't know if I can encourage you any more than these few words I've said to really think of what you want. Also think of your family, your friends, and see them in the best possible light or the best possible scene. There is an old philosopher, or was an old philosopher, back in Germany many years ago that said, see a person as they are, and they'll get worse. See them as they could be, and they will improve. Well, do the same thing for yourself. See yourself as you could be. Now, let's see if we can talk about dowsing a few minutes. Dowsing is simply a method to direct energy. And that's really all it is. There's nothing magical about it. There is nothing magical about this bullet on a chain. It's simply a tool. A lot of people ask me to ask the dowsing system something. Well, the dowsing system really doesn't know. It's your brain that knows. This is simply a tool to direct energy, and that's really all it is. So don't give all your power to any type of pendulum you have or any device. The power is within the mind. Stop and think, is the question that you're asking a very sensible question? It is better to ask one good question than to ask many questions that are scattered or don't make any sense. So the first step is think of what it is that you really want to know, and then use as few words as possible. I have noticed that many people use way too many words when asking a question. Now, there's only a few movements to a pendulum. One is back and forth like this, which is a yes. This is a no. This is a clockwise circle. And this is a counterclockwise circle. Now, yes and no are self-explanatory. What about the circles? Well, you can increase the energy of a person or of a place or of whatever you want, and the pendulum will always spin in a clockwise circle. If you wish to decrease energy, like anger, fear, grief, something like that, it will go in a counterclockwise circle. You can really affect the energy in an entire group of people, a very large group of people, simply by your thoughts and with some simple dowsing. Now, I do a number of things for various people. I work with people who have concerts of many thousand people. Well, I don't know all those people, but I can change the energy of the concert, of the people that are viewing the concert. And I do this as a group. First thing is I ask, is there anyone there that is possessed? And in some areas of the country, there will be a lot of them. I find that there are fewer people possessed at a concert in Europe than in America. I don't really know why, but that's just what I found. So what I can do here, and what you can do also, before you go to a concert or any type of event where there's a lot of people there, maybe even just a family reunion, you want to remove any and all entities from the people and from the place, and you simply do it like this. I want to neutralize, that's a word I normally use, or remove any entities from this event, this gathering, whatever it might be. Now, the length of time that the pendulum spins indicates the amount of energy required to correct the problem. Now, don't sit there for an hour waiting for it to spin. Because that's not necessary. Usually about what this is doing right now will take care of it. What I have done is cleared concerts over an awful lot of Europe and some places of America. And when we do this, everything goes better. Now let's go a step further. Any business meetings that you're having, family reunions, social events, anything like that, always clean the place up, clear the energy before you attend. And if it's a place that you're not attending, but you have a vested interest in what happens, then you can do it. Now, don't tell anybody what you're doing, because then they will try to ridicule you or tell you can't do it or something. Just do it, and just don't make a public show of it at all. Keep it very private. Okay. So, for example, once you get the entities out of the place, the next thing to do is remove negative emotions. So all I do is say I want to transform all negative emotions into love. Or you might also add respect, and the pendulum will spin in a counterclockwise direction until it stops. All right. Yeah, you want to check the compatibility of people, because if you have a family gathering or something, you want everybody to get along. So what you do, you remove any conflict, any negative emotions, bad opinions, or anything from the entire group. Now, yes, you can do this, folks. It's not that difficult at all. You just got to believe in yourself. Now, you also need to practice, because the more you practice, the better you're going to get. You can't just buy a new pendulum, pick it up, and think you're going to work miracles with it. It just doesn't work that way. So it's going to take an awful lot of practice to do all of this. So you practice with small things. For example, I check to see, should I go to the post office before lunch or after lunch? That's a very simple thing. But timing is everything. If you're at the wrong place at the wrong time, you can be in a car accident. If you're at the right place at the right time, you might find someone you're looking for, you need to meet, that gives you opportunities. So being at the right place at the right time is an affirmation that we would do well to repeat before going anywhere during the day. It only takes 2 or 3 seconds to do it. But what it does, it allows you to actually be at the right place at the right time. I have driven about 1,500 miles across the country. I set a time of when I wanted to be there. And that's 1,500 miles. I got there about 10 minutes early. There's no way you can MapQuest this and get it that accurate. So you set your goals in your mind of what you want to do, and that's the way they manifest. Now, as far as setting goals, I'd like to talk on that a little bit. I set a goal when I was about 5 years old of a place I wanted to live. I wanted over 300 acres of land. I wanted a half-mile of river running through it, and I wanted to live in a simple log and rock house. Well, that's the place I have lived for the last 50 years. Why? Because I set a goal. I created a mental picture in my mind. This is what I'm going to do. Now, I'd also like to add, failure is not an option. You set your mind to what you're going to do, and you don't allow anything or anybody to interfere with it. That's how you win. That's the difference in winners and losers. One thing I've noticed about people that are doubting, especially beginners, they complicate everything. They think they need to know everything in order to know one thing. Well, that's just simply not true. I don't know everything about anything. I only need to know what gives me the answer to solve the problem. That's all I really need to know. So, David wrote up something right here that is I'd like to go over with you. Said, imagine that you're walking through the forest and you come to a small stream. Now, it's only about like this wide. You don't need to build a bridge to cross it. So what the point here is, if you have one question to ask, then focus on that one question. Don't let a lot of other ideas come in. Don't let people around you say, well, what about this? Or why didn't you do it this way? All that's going to do is confuse you. So don't do that. So keep everything as simple as you possibly can. That's pretty much true of everything in life. I have found this to be true with a lot of my clients I work with. They want to give me the names of, or possible names of, any disease or illness that they might have. And I don't really know what they're talking about because I don't know much about illness. I don't focus on it. I focus on health. So whenever you're checking out someone, or even yourself, that has an illness, the first thing to ask is, how much love is in their body? Chances are there's not going to be any. I've just noticed this. Sick people don't have love in their body. So what do? You simply invite in the spirit of love, like this right here. And I'm going to do it for all of you folks there right now that are watching this. I'm going to invite in the spirit of love in your body. Actually, I think it's a good idea right now that I just do an energy clearing for you folks. So let's do this. This is how I would do things for anybody else. I didn't plan to do it this way, but I think it'll work fine. Do we have anybody there in your audience that are possessed? No. Why? Because people that are possessed don't come to places like this. It just usually doesn't happen at all. It might have a random person that would wander in, but no. Normally, when Allie gets a group of people together, they're really good people. But let's find out what else. Is everyone there on the proper frequency? The word frequency means the speed at which an element vibrates. Well, there is a frequency for each race of human beings. We won't get into all that. We're going to keep it real simple, and I want to put everyone there on the proper frequency. Not only that, I want to go a step further and put all of your homes on the proper frequency. Can I do that? Yes. Now, let's go a step further. For those of you who run a business of any type, let's put the business on the proper frequency. Now, I'm going to quote again. The word frequency is the speed at which an element vibrates. So, I found out that we needed to put our business on a frequency of prosperity. Now, the Oriental people know this. Most other people, American people, don't know it. I don't know that European people know this. But the frequency for prosperity is the number 8. And let's see, no, I can't do this right now. I was going to show you an 8 that I keep in my billfold all the time. It's just on a little card. Well, there's been a lot of money in that billfold ever since I put that 8 in there. I have it on my front door. If you run a business with a computer, put an 8 on your computer. What I'm trying to do here today, folks, is to give you information that I have used for years that has paid off. So, another thing I would suggest you do is give thanks for whatever you want. Don't ask for anything. If you ask for something, you're saying you don't have it. If you give thanks for it, you're saying you do have it. So I suggest you give thanks for prosperity every morning, every night. It has worked quite well for me. I have reached 160 countries around this planet simply with the simple methods that I'm sharing with you today. I didn't spend much money at all on it, practically none. But what I had was a thought of what I wanted to do. I wanted to help people clean up the water in the world. So, somehow or another, the word gets out, and people come to me from all over the world. I teach classes. We usually have pretty much a full house. and they come from great distances. And I'm always glad to have them because that tells me that these people are interested. They're going to do something. So that's what I want to do for you. I want to give you as much information here as I possibly can. So always make sure that your home, business, and body and your family is on the proper frequency. Now, what will happen, the pendulum will spin in a counterclockwise direction. Why? Because the proper frequency for something is not a high number, it's a low number. For example, I have found that the average human will vibrate at around 21 on my Dowsing scale. That's right down at near the bottom of the Dowsing chart. But the ideal frequency for human beings ranges, depending on their nationality, from about 0.5 to 3. And each race has its own specific frequency. Each animal has its own specific frequency. The problem is that most people are not vibrating at the proper frequency. So I want to do that for you right now. Now, I'm hoping you can give me some feedback because I'm filming this obviously ahead of the time you're going to be watching it. And then at the end, I'd like some feedback. Do you feel any better now than you did when we started? And I'm hoping that you will, because I'm going to put everyone there on the proper frequency. Now, I've never done this on a film before. This is totally new. I started out a little slow and a little awkward here, but it's coming to me as to what you really need now. The next thing I want to do, I want to put each of your bodies on the proper frequency and your home. I think I did that a minute ago, but it won't hurt to do it again because I want to make sure you understand this. And anytime you're putting your home, your body, your finances, your business on the proper frequency, it's almost, I think it's always going to go counterclockwise because the frequencies get too high. Now, and when you do this, you're putting everything on the frequency it's supposed to be. Now, I have made quite a bit of money by using this frequency, and I do my best to let other people that are interested and intelligent enough to use it, I want you to make some money with it. I always tell the people that come to my classes, I want you to make your money back for what you have spent traveling here, plus what you paid me. I want you to get your money back at least 10 times over. That's a goal I set for people. Now, I can't make them do it, but I can certainly encourage them to do it. And I have had a lot of feedback of people said, I made way more than 10 times what I paid for the class. Well, that's the goal. That's a win-win situation for everyone. Okay, now, before you start out anywhere, check the danger for the route you're taking. Ask, is this the best route to take? If not, choose another route. And I'd like to give you an example on this. David and I have a friend who was driving down to the coast in South Carolina, and he dowsed to see if it was safe enough, and it was up to a point until he got to a main highway that was going north and south, and from there on there was a problem, but he didn't know what it was, so he decided, well, I better not go today. The next day he douses, is it safe to go? Yes. Well, what happened? On that one particular highway, there was a tornado come through and blew all the trees in the road. He couldn't have gotten through. So always douse for safety and convenience before you start anywhere. And also, in doing business with people, you want to always check their integrity. Don't do business with people of low integrity because they'll probably take your money. That's real important. And before spending money anywhere, douse for the integrity of whoever you're dealing with. Also, if you're buying a vehicle, ask what is the mechanical condition of the vehicle. To what degree will it serve you well? Is it worth the money that they're asking for it? Ask all kinds of questions before ever spending your money on anything, especially if it's a large amount of money. So by checking out integrity of people, compatibility of people, and all these things I'm mentioning, you can save a lot of money and you can save a lot of problems. So another thing that has worked quite well for me is on any challenging situation, simply give thanks for the best possible outcome. And I'll repeat that again. Give thanks for the best possible outcome. I will give you an example. It happened last week. My driver's license ran out on my birthday, and I needed to go get another driver's license. Well, I wasn't real sure if my eyes were going to be good enough to pass the eye test. So I took 2 or 3 pair of glasses with me. I normally never wear glasses, but I thought, well, I'll take them with me just in case I need them to read the eye chart. Well, after I got there to get the driver's license, I thought, I'm going to give thanks for the best possible outcome. You know what happened? They didn't even ask me to take an eye test. Now, the letter I got said due to my age, 81 years old, I would be required to take an eye test. No, that never happened. Well, that was the best possible outcome. That's exactly what happened. Excuse me just a minute, I'll drop my pendulum. Okay, now, on any venture that you are entering, whatever it happens to be, always do that. It is amazing how much better luck and more success you will have just by doing that. You see, our attitudes are what causes things to happen to us, good or bad. And the people with a bad attitude that always thinks about everything being wrong is probably not going to win very much. If you believe that everything is going to work to your advantage and have the best possible outcome, it is amazing how much that will change things for you. Okay, one thing here I would like to talk to you about. I don't know how many of you people have young kids or grandkids, but a child will live up to or down to what their environment and what they hear. So I wrote a book, and I believe it's available in the Italian language, about how I raised April. But this will also go on to further than this. But when talking to kids, make them feel good about themselves. Make them feel proud of themselves. Tell them how well behaved they are. Tell them how intelligent they are. Because, again, they will live up to or down to what they hear. So the best thing you can do, in my opinion, in raising little kids is to compliment them on everything that you can think of. Tell them how healthy and strong they are. Don't talk to them about they might get sick. Don't even use the word sickness around them. Just tell them how healthy, happy, and how much fun they are, how much you care about them. That is amazing. That's why I wrote a book about that. And it worked out real good, and whether you have the book or not, it's just a good idea for you to do that with kids. Also, you will make friends a lot better if you compliment them on things. So as much as possible, compliment people. Make them feel good about themselves. I've heard it said that people may not remember what you said to them, but they will remember how you made them feel. So your life and theirs is going to go better if you make people feel good about themselves. So I just wanted to throw that out there. And something else now, we don't live in a perfect world. We live in a world that has thieves and violent people in it. And you need to keep those people out of your life. So what I would suggest you do, and I do this very frequently, like almost every day, ask, is there anyone who has any intent to burglarize, rob your house? Or if you have kids in school, check to see, are there anybody, teachers included, that are dangerous to your kids? Always check out schools. Now, I have checked various schools, from elementary schools to universities, for people. What I have found is that the higher priced the universities are, the lower the energy is. You may not like it, but that's what I found. And I found it consistently. And there was one particular girl whose dad passed away, and she kind of adopted me as her dad, I guess was what happened. And she went to a rather prestigious college. I had to work every week, at least one day a week, to keep that college cleaned up. And it was one of the more expensive and prestigious ones in America. So wherever your kids are going to school, whether it's kindergarten or universities, check the energy there. Check how many of the professors and students are possessed. Now, there'll be a lot more professors possessed than there will students. And then what do? Well, you clean them up. You do the exorcism on the people and on the school. No, you don't need to ask anyone's permission. Don't even tell anybody about it. Just do it. There is a belief among the American doubters that you can't do anything unless you get permission from someone else. Well, that's simply not true. I have never followed that belief. I never will. Why? Because it's useless. It's worse than useless. If your kids are in a potentially dangerous or bad situation, you have a right to change it. So do it. And if you need help, I made a film called Change Energy, Change Your Life. Get it, play it, and direct it at the school wherever your kids go. Play it at the place where you work. Use it in every possible way you can. Or if you already know how to douse and you don't need to film, then just do it yourself. But what is my biggest problem with encouraging people is to make them believe in themselves. They believe I can do it, but that's not the problem. I want them to believe they can do it. I want you to believe you can do what I'm talking about here, because you can. And that is my goal in every talk I make, and this talk has been somewhat scattered, but in every talk I make, I want to encourage people. You can do what I do. And I have cleaned up schools all across America and in some foreign countries. That didn't mean I got them all now. No, I only worked on the ones where people requested. I don't go out and try to save the world. I don't think I could do it anyway, and I don't spend my time. I work only for people who ask for help and are willing to do something for themselves. And that's my goal is to empower people. People like you. You've come here today to get information. I'm doing my best to give you the best I have. So believing in yourself is the first step. So let's see what else we've got here. Yes, put a shield around your house, just an imaginary shield. There are really no specifications for this. You can imagine a brick wall, or you can imagine just an energy field or whatever, with the intent that it keeps away any harmful people. You just use the word harmful, and I think that would probably take care of everything else. Do I do this? Yes. I not only that, I programmed myself to be aware of anyone that might come to steal anything. And you know what? I found somebody. You know what else I did? I sent them a message. I won't be as blunt here as I was with the message, but let them know that it would not be in their best interest to try to burglarize my house. You know what? I checked them again later. They didn't even have a thought of it. So yes, you can find out what people are thinking. And if anything, if your kids are in school, check danger, or check them wherever they are. Check any danger for anywhere you might be going. And stay out of dangerous places. A lot of places you don't really have to go. You have a choice. You can go there among people that may have contagious diseases, or you can stay away. I would also suggest you do that. Wherever you're going, find, is there anyone there with any contagious disease that I might be at risk? If so, don't go. You have all manner of choices with your life. So I'm trying to help you recognize this and take those choices. Make the best ones. Choose the best travel routes. Choose honest people. Choose positive situations. Even before going into a restaurant, check the quality of the food. Check to see if it's safe to eat. Some of them aren't. So just stop and think a minute. You have the ability, if you'll practice, to get information you need to solve most any problem you can think of. I have used this for years. It has served me quite well. Let's see what else we've got here. Yes, I'd like to clean up the drinking water for you. That was one of the goals I set many years ago, was to clean up the water on this planet. I haven't got it all done yet. I might not ever get it all done, but I'm hoping you'll help. So let's just go through the procedure of what I do to clean up drinking water. And I want this to apply to your homes, wherever you happen to live. I don't know where you folks live, but that doesn't matter. I have an intent to clean up the water, and intent is the key word. So the first thing I'm going to do is tell you that if you buy city water, it probably has chlorine in it. Well, I don't have chlorine in my drinking water. My water comes right out of the earth. There's a big spring in the backyard, and that's where I get my water. But I realize that most people don't have that option. So I would like to do this term here, in these words, scramble the frequency of any chemical, biological, or radiological pollutants within the water that flows into your house. Now, the length of time and velocity that this spins will tell you how much energy is required to correct the problem. This has taken quite a bit. I have heard that Europe doesn't really have the best drinking water. I don't know if that's true. That's just what I've heard. But the way this pendulum is spinning, it looks to be true. All right, now it's slowing down. Do you get it? Are there any chemical, biological, radiological pollutants within these folks' drinking water? No. Is the spirit of water in it? No. This is what I learned. Water has a spirit. And if water has a lot of pollutants in it, the spirit of water is not there. Okay? So what I want to do is to bring in the spirit of water into all the water that flows through the pipes into your home. And there's a big spring out here in the west, in the state of Montana, that has the purest drinking water in the world, or that is what I've been told. So I use that as a sort of reference. So I want to take the purity, the energy, and the good taste of that spring in Great Falls, Montana, and put it in the water that flows into your kitchen and into your home. Do I think I can do this? I've been doing it for several years. And why do I believe it works? Because the people call and tell me my water tastes wonderful now. So I would love to do that for you folks. And that's what we're trying to do here. Now, let's say another thing about this. With dowsing, distance is not a factor. You can work on someone on the other side of the world just as easy as you can if they're standing in front of you. So just remember, distance is not a factor at all. If you have relatives with an illness and they're hundreds of miles away, yes, you can still work on them. There's not any reason not to. You see, I think we have broken through the barriers of a faulty belief system whenever we're doing this. We're doing things in the last 20 years that everyone in the world knew was impossible. So I've probably told you this story before, if you've been to this conference before, but I'm going to tell you again. I had a phone conversation one day with a small group of people. There was a person leading it, and then he had a audience just on Zoom. And he asked if I would clean up the water in a place called Perth, Australia. And you may have heard this before because it's been fairly widely publicized. And I said, well, how many people live there? 2 million. Well, that's quite a few. I've never done that before for that many people. Where does Perth, Australia get its drinking water? From a big lake up north of the city. So I checked the water. What is the energy of the water in that lake? There was none. Well, that's strange. Wonder why. So I just asked, why is the water energy zero? And then all at once I got this idea. There are demons in there. Now, I realize some of you folks may not believe in demons. Well, that's up to you, but I believe in them because I've gotten rid of a lot of them. And there were 20 in there. Well, I said this to the audience and to the narrator that had invited me to speak. He said, well, there's a lot of demonic worship and pedophilia around that lake. Well, that's a bad sign, real bad sign. So what did I have to do? I had to get rid of all the demonic forces, all the negative entities, and wipe out all of the low-level people that caused the problem. Did they fall over and die? Not to my knowledge. But I think what I did is disempowered them. What we know we did is we cleaned up the water. See, energy is impressed upon matter. That's a principle of Einstein. Well, thoughts and actions are energy. Water is matter. So if you have a lot of evil activity going on around a lake, that affects the water. See, human thought affects the energy of a lot of things around you. That's why the rule of success is think of what you want instead of what you don't want. All right, so what happened? We didn't have a very large audience, maybe 50 people, and not all of them were from Australia. They were from various areas, but they just happened to join in on this Zoom session. And I said, I want you people to write me tomorrow and let me know how the water tastes. Out of, I don't know how many people were from Australia, but fewer than 50. But the next day, I got 27 emails telling me how good the water tasted. Now, folks, that really boosted my confidence a lot. I want it to boost your confidence. I'm not telling you this just to brag on what I did. I'm telling you this that you can do the same thing. So do it. Don't doubt yourself. Build your confidence. So every time you do something and succeed, you have more confidence, just like I do. That built my confidence tremendously. So don't ever be afraid to try something. The worst you will ever do is nothing. And the best you'll ever do is another miracle. and you folks are capable of it. Thank you folks for showing up here today, listening to this talk I've had with you. I really appreciate you being there, and I really appreciate Allie putting this together, creating a doubting conference there in Italy. I'm very honored that she would invite me to speak. Some of my speech was a little bit scattered from time to time. I was trying to think of what was the most important thing to say, but I hope I got it said. So I want to thank you for watching and put this to use. And you have a choice as to whether to be a winner or a loser, so choose to be a winner. Thank you for watching.